Aloha kako! In this presentation, we're going to talk about the importance of description, especially for Hawaiʻi materials. The big takeaways from this presentation are 1. Current description practices are both harmful and inadequate in the context of Hawaii's communities. And 2. By improving descriptions of Hawaiʻi materials, we can help to close those gaps and improve the information scapes for those communities. So here's an example of harmful description. If you search in the Hawaii State Archives digital photograph collection for Iolani Palace, this is the first result that comes up. And as you can see, the description simply states, a pupuli man in front of the Iolani Palace. There are several things wrong here. First, the word pupuli is spelled incorrectly. The correct spelling of the word ends in e, or the letter E, instead of E, or the letter I. Second, how is pupuli the only description available for this kanaka, for this person? What makes him pupule, or crazy/insane? How would his ohana feel if they saw him being described as such? The other issue here is representation of the idea of Iolani Palace. If you were searching for Iolani Palace, would you expect that this would be the first result that comes up? Let's investigate another example. If you do a search in Ulukau, or any collection for that matter, for the moku or district of Hanam on Maui, you're going to come up with several results, all of them for words that include the letters H-A-N-A. These are words like ohana, papahana, mehana, etc. So doing a search for hana retrieves mostly results that are unrelated to that place. But what if you're from Hana and you're trying to find mele or songs to that place? Or you're going to visit Hana and you are looking for mo'olelo or stories about areas that you'll be seeing. How can you find information about Hana if you're bombarded with irrelevant information? These issues and questions necessitate the need for better description of our materials. If our materials are better described, then our communities can better engage with them. So here's an example from one community that is addressing these issues. This is a digital library and archive from the Passamaquoddy people, an indigenous Native American tribe from eastern Maine. The Passamaquoddy people are using Mukuru, which is a content management system developed for indigenous materials. In this collection, the Passamaquoddy people provide rich descriptions of their materials, providing better access points for them. They also include traditional knowledge labels. These labels show others how to access, engage, and use the materials. For example, the last label, TKNC, signifies non-commercial use. According to the website, this label indicates that this material should not be used in any commercial ways, including ways that derive profit from sale or production for non-Passamaquoddy people. Here is another example of community efforts to improve description practices. In 2005, supported by indigenous, local, and government library organizations, the initial listing of Māori subject headings were published. Known as Nga'u Poko Tukutuku, these subject headings were the first indigenous language subject headings to be authorized by the Library of Congress MARC Standards Office. Here is an example of a term found in Nga'u Tukutuku. As you can see, Māori language is forefronted. Both the term itself and the structural organization of the term are in the Māori language. To develop the subject headings, the Māori started with their conceptual framework, as depicted here. As stated here, in the Māori worldview, aspects of the people, the spiritual, and the mind are intrinsically connected to each other. This model recognizes both the traditional and contemporary perspectives. This makes me wonder, what Hawaiian models could be used to support Hawaiian subject terminology? Ultimately, the choices we make about how to describe our collections are political choices. Each term we use is an opportunity to strengthen our identities and worldviews. That being said, we'll close with a final question. How can we appropriately describe our collections so that our communities can appropriately engage with them? We look forward to seeing how we all respond to this. Aloha.